Hello everyone, welcome back to Nita Stable. Without wasting your time, let's get right into the video. Today we're talking about the typical Nigerian family. 38-year-old Nelson got married to 32-year-old Peace and they have two kids. It was seeming like a very perfect family and everything was going on very well until Nelson started receiving calls. There was something about these calls though. They came from a very familiar person, which is Samantha. Samantha is Nelson's childhood friend. They grew up together and they've had a romantic thing in the past. So when Samantha wanted to talk to Peace, Nelson kicked against it because he didn't know what their discussion would birth. And instead of Samantha to just let it go, she decided to lay a threat by saying she would make sure Nelson's family suffer heat. By heat, she meant disputes, she meant fights, she meant hard times between the husband and wife. At first, Henry didn't took too much into it, but this call started coming in frequently. It came when he was eating, it came when he was having a good time with his family. He even came while he was playing with his full family, and every wife who was observant would notice, and so did Peace. Peace noticed it and became a little bit worried and decided to ask her husband what exactly was going on. As expected, Henry brushed it off. He said it was nothing of a bother and she shouldn't disturb herself too much about it because it's not really that important. Peace wasn't really having it, so she kept asking for an answer, but he said nothing. The calls were still persistent that he couldn't ignore. He begged Samantha to let his family be, but Samantha was just too adamant and too strong in her will, so she refused. Peace still noticed the constant anger and vexation on her husband's face, so she kept asking for a reply. Sometimes Nelson would brush it off with a laugh and say it's his boss that's just asking too much of him, or he would bring up an excuse that would just match the situation. The main thing is that he never answered. So he decided to ask his mom for an advice. That's the next person he believes could tell him something reasonable. Being a very calm, reasonable, and collective woman that she is, she gave Nelson one advice. In her words, she said, "The truth is the best gift you can give to a woman." And that alone changed Nelson's perspective. So he went to his wife. Here's the twist. Samantha is pregnant and she says Nelson is responsible for it. Nelson didn't want to deny it because he knew some months back he had a lash out with his wife and he went out to cool off and get a drink. It happened that in that same bar, Samantha met him and they both got drunk and went home to her house. The next time he realized himself was the next morning. He was naked under Samantha's sheets. So he couldn't just say, "No, I'm not the father of your unborn child." Nelson went home that day and fell at his wife's feet. He was so upset at himself and was also sorry. He begged and pleaded for her forgiveness and promised never to do such a thing again. Peace, on the other hand, who was obviously shocked, just took the whole matter a little bit too calmly, and that got Henry worried. He decided to see how it goes and also give Peace what she wanted. She requested to talk to Samantha and Henry would agree, of course. Anybody would. He didn't ask too much and the next morning he called Samantha. Peace spoke to Samantha, giving her calm words and telling her that everything is okay. She promised Samantha that she would be well taken care of, but that was a very big lie. How possible can it be? Nelson can't father a child. What am I going to do? God, maybe I should just tell him. You guessed right. Nelson is infertile. He's impotent. So how come he has two kids with Peace? She thought for a while and decided to confess the truth to her husband. But while she was about to, she had a plan. Why tell him when you can just kill Samantha? The next morning came and she called Samantha. She was simple and straightforward. She told Samantha she knew the game that she was playing and asked Samantha for her house details. She asked for her address. For reasons you will find out later, Samantha agreed to give Peace her home address. And the plan was simple: go there with a gun and make sure Samantha never speaks again. Nothing made sense to Peace when she kicked open the door and she saw her husband and the fat woman sitting down. Who's this fat woman and why is Nelson here? Turns out Samantha just wanted to help with no unborn kids, because what happened the other night was a little bit close to nothing. Nelson had puked all over his clothes and she helped him pull it off his body, and that was it. That was pretty much it. With a gun in her hand, she had a lot of things to be sorry for. She begged Nelson not to report her to the police for attempted murder and also begged not to be divorced. Which, if you ask me, shouldn't be something to beg for. I mean, you should already know the answer. Anyways, how do you think this story ended? Let me know in the comment section. Bye.